Are you shopping for your first electric bike, but you're not sure where to start? Welcome to a beginner's guide to e-bikes, a comprehensive video series that distills over 6 years of me riding e-bikes, 4+ years of reviewing e-bikes, talking with industry professionals. We're going to talk about a ton of information. In this video, we're going to talk about how much should you spend on your first electric bike.
Thanks to Electric for sponsoring this video. More on them in a second. And all we ask of you is if we've helped you make your decision on your first e-bike, using our affiliate links before you make a purchase is a free way for you to support the channel.
And if you're just here to gather information, that's fine too. Liking this video or subscribing to the channel is also a great way to support us. I'm Ryan from Ebike Escape. This is Miles.
I'm Miles.
So I get this question a lot. A lot of people want a cheap e-bike, but how low should you go? It's a great question. The good news for you is that most of the e-bikes that we review on the channel are sub $2,000, but don't worry, there are a lot of $1,000-ish e-bikes that we also recommend. Let's first start with the category of entry-level e-bikes, and this is actually a great segue to our sponsor Electric because they are the best in the business when it comes to affordable e-bikes. The Electric XP Lite at $799 is the cheapest e-bike that we recommend. No, don't go to Amazon and search for e-bike and buy the cheap ones there. You will be disappointed. Electric happens to be the largest seller of e-bikes in North America, so there's a great customer support team. And so if you just want something simple, the single-speed Electric XP Lite 2.0 is a great option. So that's $799. That's the basement. I would not go lower than that. And just to step up from there, we have the $1,000 price point, which I feel like is the starting place for what most people purchase. Miles, what do we have at $1,000?
When you get into the $1,000 price point, this is where you're going to see some more features. You're probably going to get somewhere around a 10 amp hour battery, which is still smaller than average, but for my first e-bike, it was plenty of range for commuting. This is where you're gonna see 350 watt to 500 watt motors, which might not peak as high as some higher priced bikes, but it still offers plenty of capability. And this is where you're gonna start seeing included accessories like fenders and racks, which really opens up the door for commuting and having kind of a package deal right off the start.
Some companies won't include these, so keep that in mind. For the most part, you'll see cadence sensors, though there are some exceptions to that.
And you're also going to see shifters and gearing that is adequate for recreational riding.
And this is mostly where you're going to buy from a direct-to-consumer company, but that's a subject for another video on kind of where to buy and some of the pros and cons of each. I would say also at this $1,000 price point, a lot of these bikes are folding e-bikes because they ship in a smaller box, so it doesn't cost the manufacturer quite as much to ship those bikes out.
But there are some great full frame, non-folding e-bikes available too at that price point.
Stepping up from there, we have the $1,000 to $2,000 price point, and this is probably the biggest one because there's just so many options. If you are in that sub $2,000 price point, you can purchase basically any type of e-bike that you want. This is where you're going to start seeing things like full 750 watt motors that are maybe peaking much higher than that. You're going to start seeing average size batteries, which we view as 14 amp hour batteries. You might see higher capacities though. You start to see torque sensors on some models, but not all. There'll also be some slight upgrades to the shifter and derailleur. Maybe not using Shimano Tourney, but stepping up to Altus. This also includes a trigger shifter as opposed to the basic thumb shifters. And we should have mentioned previously, you can get an e-bike with a throttle at basically any price point. You also might start to see some more name brand components, maybe Tektro hydraulic disc brakes instead of no name or unbranded hydraulic disc brakes. Those can make a slight difference, but most people who are buying their first e-bike probably aren't going to notice some of those finer details.
And as you move through this price range, you're going to start seeing some more comfort features. Some things that we look for are swept back handlebars or an adjustable stem for an upright riding position.
Closer to the $2,000 price point, you will find some e-bikes with suspension seat posts, which is a great option. The U-Free City Robin X Plus comes to mind there. We also look for some additional features like a horn, maybe some turn signals, maybe lights built into the frame as well. Just some of those extra touches. Maybe smooth welds on some of the bikes for a much cleaner and premium look. We've also seen some smart features from brands. We're talking 4G connectivity, some smart locking system, geofencing, Apple Find My. It's actually pretty crazy what some of the brands are able to put into some of these relatively cheaper e-bikes if you like some of those additional features and value perhaps security.
We've even seen electronic shifting at this price point too.
And just to wrap up the $1,000 to $2,000 price point, that's where our first e-bike was priced at, around $1,500, our 2018 Rad Wagon. And if you think that you're going to buy a more affordable e-bike and it's not going to last, we put 4,000 miles plus on our first generation Rad Wagon, and that was what, 6 years ago? And the technology and things have only gotten better since then. So yes, these e-bikes do hold up.
And I also spent $1,000 on my first e-bike, and I put over 700 miles on it commuting back and forth to work, and it is still running strong.
So don't let people who have a true biking background tell you that you're just buying trash at this price point. We have data to prove otherwise, and tons of YouTube comments and emails to prove otherwise as well. The next category is the $2,000 to $3,000 price point. We're not going to spend a ton of time here because we understand that most of you probably want an affordable e-bike for your first e-bike. But over the $2,000 price point, you at least start to see mid-drive e-bikes, at least in the direct-to-consumer space. You start to see some lower maintenance options. The Trifecta comes to mind, a mid-drive belt drive with an internally geared hub e-bike. You also have e-mountain bikes, which is something relatively new in the last year or so. There also will be some nicer drivetrains on some of these e-bikes. You also start stepping into some e-bikes that at least offer full suspension, though it's not going to be from name brands that you're familiar with. And our final category is really high-end e-bikes. This is $3,000 plus, and when I say plus, I'm talking $10,000 if you want to spend on an e-bike. And this is where you're really buying from some of these staple brands. That's not to say there isn't some exceptions to that, but talking about Specialized, maybe some of their Turbo Vado e-bikes. At this price point, you basically want to see name brand components everywhere. You'll start to see motors from big name brands such as Yamaha and some of the Bosch motors, which just carry a higher price point. And it should go without saying, this is where you really have the bike shop experience. And of course, there are some direct-to-consumer models at these higher price points, but for the most part, you're going to have an in-store experience with these higher end e-bikes.
Let us know in the comments, what's your budget for your first e-bike? We will try to help you out if you haven't made a decision yet.
And remember, if you have made your decision, you can help support the channel for free by using our affiliate links down in the description. Thanks to Electric for sponsoring this video. More beginner e-bike content coming your way, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you in the next one.